Welcome back to the deep dive, where we dig into the how and why behind the information you consume.
And today we have a really interesting one.
We do. We're looking at a habit that a lot of us might see it as a bit of a relic.
Reading a newspaper.
Exactly. You think of black or white print, maybe a cup of coffee, but our source material makes this pretty bold claim. It says, calling it an old habit totally misses the point.
It does. The sources insist it's actually a very good one. And that's our hook for this deep dive. This isn't about nostalgia.
No.
We're here to analyze why this specific way of getting information has these really profound and surprisingly modern benefits.
So our mission today is to unpack that. Why does this habit stick around? And why did the sources say it's about so much more than just news? It's about, and I'm quoting here, learning, thinking, and staying connected with the world.
That's the core of it. Okay, so let's start with the most obvious piece, which the sources use as a foundation, becoming the informed person. I mean, we all feel informed today with our phones.
Right, so what's so different about a paper?
Well, the key advantage is all in the structure. I mean, think about it.
Oh.
Our digital feeds are built for us. They're personalized. They're narrow.
They give us what we already like.
Exactly. The newspaper, just because it's a physical, curated thing, it forces you to see a wider picture. It's a single source that gives you a baseline of general knowledge.
And it's not based on my clicks. It's based on what editors decided was important for everyone to know.
Precisely. In a world where algorithms push us deeper into our little niches, the paper sort of pulls you out and says, hey, look at the whole spectrum.
Yeah, I see.
And the material gets really specific on this. It lists the areas of knowledge you absorb just by turning the pages. You get a sense of what is going on in politics, business, science, and sports. Think of it as, I don't know, intellectual cross-training.
You can't just skip the parts you find boring.
You can't. They're right there on the page next to the story you wanted to read.
Mm-hmm.
It's physically present.
That's actually a really powerful idea. It stops you from developing those blind spots. You know, I might not actively seek out news on international trade policy, but if it's on the front page, I'm at least going to scan the headline, right? I can't stay completely inside my own little bubble.
And it's not just local stuff, is it?
No, not at all. The source material really stresses that you read stories about your country and other countries too.
Right. So this forced global awareness, that's what helps the reader become a more informed person.
Yeah.
You're building this armor against ignorance.
Get context.
That's the word. Context.
Yep.
So one thing that's so often missing from a 30-second clip on social media. Okay, so that's step one. Getting this broad base of facts.
Right.
But the sources suggest that step two is about processing it all. Yes, turning that information into something more, like wisdom. And this brings us to that second big advantage. Sharpening your cognitive and linguistic skills. This is where it goes beyond just passive reading.
Yeah, and this is where I think it gets really interesting. The habit is framed as a kind of daily mental maintenance. You know, we talk about going to the gym for your body.
Right.
Reading a paper is like a routine workout for your brain's language center. You're not just getting facts, you're internalizing professional writing.
Writing that's been edited, fact-checked.
And structured for clarity. It's not just a random opinion.
So how does that actually work? How does looking at printed words translate into me being a better speaker or writer? It works through exposure, constant daily exposure to sophisticated language. You're sort of organically learning new words, new expressions, and this is the big one, improving better sentence structures.
You're absorbing syntax without even trying?
Exactly. You're absorbing rhetorical devices, and formal ways of speaking that you just don't find in, casual online comments. It's basically a masterclass in composition delivered to your door.
That makes a lot of sense. Good writing is learned by reading good writing. It's like the difference between hearing a pop song and actually studying a symphony.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And what's really crucial here is a specific point they make for language learners.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The source says if you read in English, your reading and vocabulary gets stronger every day. It's this indispensable tool because it gives you complexity and a formal register.
The kind of language you need for work or for school.
The kind of language that social media just doesn't provide.
Okay, and this is where I think the whole argument pivots and becomes really critical for today. We go from building vocabulary to building critical thinking. This is where the simple habit turns into a superpower for mental resilience. The paper turns you from just a consumer of facts into an analyst.
Absolutely. And critical thinking is just the natural result of being exposed to complexity and to contradiction, which the newspaper format provides on purpose.
What do you mean?
Well, think about the layout. On one page, you'll have a straight news report, just the facts, and then right next to it, an op-ed that offers a completely different take on it.
So the reader is physically forced to hold those two conflicting ideas in their head at the same time.
Yes, and that's the key difference from a personalized feed, which just shows you things that confirm what you already believe. A newspaper deliberately puts opposing ideas side by side.
It forces you to compare.
Precisely. And when you're exposed to these different sides of a story in a fixed, non-algorithmic way, the material says 4 key things start to happen in your brain. This is the actual mechanism of intellectual growth.
Okay, let's break those 4 things down.
First, you just naturally start to ask questions. You read one thing and your brain immediately remembers the counter-argument you saw 2 columns over.
So you're not just accepting it.
No. Second, you actively compare ideas. You start building these little mental models to analyze things. Third, you learn to understand different sides of a story, not just that they exist, but why they exist.
And those first 3 actions lead straight into the final crucial consequence that the sources talk about, the ultimate defense against misinformation. And the consequence is so clear. You don't just believe everything you hear. This habit, it sort of inoculates you. Inoculates you against what?
Against shallow confirmation bias. It trains your mind to always look for the angle, to find the nuance, and to question the assumptions behind any story. It builds intellectual skepticism.
Which is a necessity today, not a luxury.
It really is.
That totally reframes the whole thing for me. The paper isn't just giving you information. It's building the mental scaffolding for how you process all information, no matter where you get it.
It is. And all of this sustained, complex thinking, it leads us to the final and maybe the most surprising benefit that our sources listed.
The meditative part.
The meditative part. The idea that reading a newspaper can actually be, well, relaxing.
Relaxing. I mean, you're reading about global crises and economic problems. That sounds like the opposite of relaxing.
It seems like it, but it's the contrast benefit. It's the digital detox element. The newspaper provides this environment that's inherently anti-chaos.
Okay.
It offers a unique, quiet time in the morning because it demands your full, fixed attention on one thing.
I'm picturing the ritual of it. You know, turning the actual pages, that moment with your coffee before the day really starts.
And the sources are very specific about what makes it peaceful. It's about what's missing.
What's missing?
There is no noise, no phone, no social media. You are engaging with a single, contained, finite medium.
finite. That's a huge deal, isn't it? My phone is designed for infinite interruption, endless scrolling. That creates a kind of low-level anxiety.
Right.
But a newspaper, it has edges.
Yep.
It ends.
Exactly. You aren't being hit with push notifications every 2 minutes. You aren't being dragged down that cortisol spiking rabbit hole of the infinite scroll. You're actually allowed to just focus.
Which is restorative for the brain.
It's deeply restorative. So the activity reinforces this idea of a peaceful habit that builds your mind without draining your mental batteries. It gives you a moment of uninterrupted focus that we almost never get anymore.
So if we pull all four of these points together, the broad knowledge, the better language, the critical thinking, and this focused piece, what's the final verdict for someone who just feels overwhelmed by information all day?
I think it means the central conclusion from the material is spot on. Reading a newspaper is definitively not old-fashioned. It's actually a smart habit.
A smart habit. It provides real, tangible returns in the exact areas where our modern digital lives are, frankly, failing us. Breadth, structure, critical thinking, and focus. But what about the time? I mean, that's always the objection to starting a new habit, right? I don't have an hour to read a paper every morning.
And the sources address that directly, which I think is key to making this actually doable for people. They talk about the minimum commitment.
Okay.
They note that even reading for just 10 minutes a day will result in you learning something new every single time.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. It's a remarkably high return on a very small investment of your time. You can build that informed perspective, that critical lens, just a little bit each day.
That makes it so much more approachable. You know, our source material ends with a direct challenge. I want to pass that on to you, our listener.
Yeah.
Try to read just one article today and see how it feels.
But as you do it, don't just think about the facts in the article. Reflect on the process.
The experience of it.
Exactly. Think about which of these four benefits you feel first. Is it that sudden feeling of knowing something new, something outside your usual lane?
Or maybe you notice a really well-crafted sentence and think, oh, that's a better way to say that.
Or is it the satisfaction of seeing two different opinions on the same page and comparing them in your own mind?
Or maybe it's just the quiet, the simple relief of having a peaceful, non-digital, focused start to your day.
The real challenge isn't just to read the article. It's to recognize what you're choosing in that moment.
You're choosing focused attention over endless distraction. So take those 10 minutes, pick a fixed medium, and just see what a little bit of intellectual resilience feels like. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.